It's easy to think our lives are shaped by these huge, dramatic moments. But what if the real story of your life? What if it's being written right now, in the tiny, quiet choices you make every single day? That's what we're digging into today, this incredible wisdom from Jim Rohn about how your habits are the authors of your destiny.
So let's just start with a really personal question. I want you to think back to this morning. Not yesterday, not last week, just this morning. How did you start your day? What was the very first thing you did when you woke up?
Because here's the thing. According to this philosophy, that moment, it wasn't just a routine. It was a statement. It was a silent, private declaration you made to yourself about who you are and what you think your life is actually worth.
And that right there brings us to our first big idea, the unbelievable power that is packed into the first hour after you open your eyes. You see, in those first 60 minutes, we all hit this fork in the road. Do you reach for something that sharpens you? A good book, a quiet thought, setting an intention for the day? Or do you reach for something that numbs you, like immediately grabbing your phone and diving headfirst into the noise and the chaos of somebody else's agenda? The truth is, most people, even with the best intentions, they start every single day already on the back foot, already reacting. And when you start the day playing defense, you almost never catch up.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's not about needing some perfect 2-hour morning ritual. It's about grabbing just 5 or 10 minutes to point your ship in the right direction before the world's winds try to blow you off course. Because over time, that tiny discipline, that makes all the difference.
Now, all those little daily choices, especially the ones nobody else sees, they start building something a lot deeper. They actually define the two different versions of you that exist at the same time.
Think about it. There's the you the world sees. That's your public performance. It's what you say you want out of life. But then there's the you that exists when no one is watching. That's your private disciplines. That's what you actually do. So the real question is, which one of those is bigger? Is the person you are in private more impressive than the performance you put on in public?
And here's the absolute kicker. Your future isn't decided in some big moment of crisis. Your character isn't forged when the spotlight is on. It's built brick by brick in the thousands of quiet, unseen choices you make when it's just you. That gap, the space between who you say you are and what you do when the doors are closed, that is the workshop where your life story is being written.
This leads us straight into a really powerful and sometimes kind of harsh reality. Time is basically a giant amplifier. It doesn't care if your choices are good or bad. It just takes whatever you give it and makes it bigger.
We tend to think of success and failure as these huge, dramatic events, like a massive win or a catastrophic collapse. But Ron's idea is that it's much quieter, much simpler than that. Success is really just a few small disciplines practiced every single day. And failure? Well, that's just a few errors in judgment repeated every single day. And this is the sneaky part. This is the cruel genius of the whole thing. In the moment, choosing the discipline, like reading 10 pages, feels almost exactly the same as choosing the error, like scrolling on your phone for 10 minutes. The immediate impact is so tiny you barely notice it. But time is the patient accountant that reveals the true cost of everything.
So you have to ask yourself, what are you feeding that amplifier? Are you compounding discipline or are you compounding neglect? The person who makes one small, wise choice every day and the person who doesn't, they might look pretty much the same today. But fast forward 10 or 20 years, and time will have shown the world who they really are.
Okay, so if that's true, how do we make sure we're feeding time the right stuff? Well, this brings us to the final and maybe the most practical tool in this whole philosophy. It's a really simple, powerful practice you can do to end your day. Ron's mentor, a man named Mr. Schaff, gave him this incredible piece of advice. Every evening, just before you sleep, just pause and review the day. Now, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's about honest reflection. Just ask, where did I stick to my disciplines today? And where did I let them slip? What did I learn? What might I do a little differently tomorrow? When you do this, you turn every single day into your teacher, and you're always learning, always course correcting.
And please remember, the goal here is absolutely not perfection. Nobody has a perfect day. The real goal is to have an intentional day, a day where your actions are lined up with your values and where that private self is walking in the same direction as the person you hope to be.
So let's end on this one last thought. Jim Rohn used to say that success isn't something you go out and chase down. It's something you attract by the person you become.
So the real question isn't what do I need to go get? The real question is, through all your quiet, daily, unseen habits, who are you becoming?